So you believe in God then? Did you even read her comment? Dude. Hello everybody, I'm with me, and today we're going to be talking about a video called Incensed, oh my mistake, Incest, can't believe incest is the first thing I thought, whatever. Incensed Atheist questions William Lane Craig. Alright, so this video, I can't really understand what the speaker is saying. The echo is so much that it sounds like horror. So I'm just going to read the comments of the video. Now, if anybody, atheist YouTuber that actually wants to respond to the video in case they have better hearing than me, which is always possible, I'll leave the video link in the description below. But I will read the comments. Atheists say, if there is a God, then why is there so much evil? But then they complain that God is cosmic bully because he destroyed evil with the flood. You can't win with these guys. God doesn't have to have evil in the world. He could simply just snap it away, and then presto, evil's gone. But for some reason, he leaves it in and lets people get killed and murdered and all these other things. He lets people starve to death out in the streets. It's a bit unlikely that literally everybody in the world but this one family, everybody in the world except one family was evil. It's a little hard to believe that. Plus, how can you tell that the kids were evil? The kids can grow up to be nice and good people. They could be good God worshippers. Hell, you could take all the goddamn babies and put it on the ark. But nope, you had to drown absolutely everybody except for one family and 2 of each animal. That's why people have so much of a problem with the flood. Can't atheists see what they are believing in is a fairy tale? Which fool actually believes that the universe came from nothing and our brains came from a random mindless process? Atheists don't believe that. They simply disbelieve in a God. It's like, I've explained this before, atheism isn't a worldview, it's just the answer to the question, is there a God? Atheists could believe whatever the hell the universe came from. Atheists can believe in a lot of things, but the only reason why you'd be called an atheist is because God probably doesn't exist. God doesn't exist to the, answer, is there a God? Now, me personally, I don't know where the universe came from. I don't believe it came from nothing because that simply doesn't make any sense. I don't know where our brains came from either. I haven't studied the evolution of the brain or evolution of mankind. However, the random mindless process bit isn't random mindless process. Sure, it's a little random, but it isn't entirely random or mindless. There's a lot of key factors both inside the organism and outside the organism that causes it to evolve. It's amazing how angry some, if not most atheists can be. Scary what will happen a few years from now when they take over. Oppression at its finest. Holy shite. I don't know how to respond to that. Oppression at its finest. It's weird. I don't even know what to say to that. Let's just move on. Jesus Christ. Communist, till you're rich. Feminism, till you get married. Atheist, till planes start falling from the sky. I don't get that one. I don't get it. I honestly don't. Communist till you're rich. I kind of get it because, if in a communist nation, from all the examples we've had of communist nations, all the nations were poor because everybody would have an equal share, but some people wouldn't work as much as other people, so it kind of pulls people down. My teacher gave a great example. It's like everybody had a test, but all of the test scores, he would then get the mean of all the test scores, and that would be everybody's test score. So let's say that everybody got an 87 on the test. Now all the people that don't work as hard are like, yay, this is amazing, while all the people that work really hard are kind of disappointed because they probably got a 100, however they have to share an 87 with everybody else. That doesn't sound so bad. However, those people that are disappointed in their test scores are probably not going to work as hard next score. So when the next time comes around, it's going to get lower. And sure, the F people are like, yay, it's not an F, while the A people are even more angry. So they're not going to work as hard. And eventually it'll all go down to like F, F, F every single time. Feminism till you get married, I don't get that one. I mean, I guess there's a divorce joke in there maybe? You have to think really hard to get that joke. I don't really get it too much. I don't know. Then an atheist till planes start falling out of the sky. I have no clue what that means. Like, the communist one, okay, that's okay. Feminism one, there's something there, but I don't know if that's what it actually is supposed to mean or what. And then the plane, it just falls apart. Sorry, man. 0 out of 10. Very bad. This is what is so silly. The questioner claims not to believe in this God of Craig's, and yet he is seething with anger and rage. Why would anyone get this riled up over an imaginary God? It's because the questioner knows God exists, and he's trying to convince himself that he is not accountable to God. Now, I've not seen the video because it's hard to really understand what they're saying, so I'm just going to go off the boat and say, okay, this person is correct about the questioner. It's pathetic, really, how so many rational free thinkers devote all their spare time to blogging, chatting, discussing, debating, etc. about the Christian about the Christian God that they claim not to believe in. The reason why we do this is because, well, me personally, the reason why I do this is because there's a lot of misconceptions about atheism. A lot of people think of it as like a taboo subject, like it's not something you should talk about. And I hate that. I hate the fact that it's a taboo subject. I don't want it to be a taboo subject anymore. That's why I'm quite open about being an atheist. Also, it's just a hobby of mine. I mean, why should I care about blogging about, video games or movies or characters in those games or movies? I mean, I don't believe in them. It's just something that I do. It's just a hobby of mine. I can understand why I, as a believer in Jesus, would feel a desire to share my faith, because knowing Jesus of Nazareth has changed my life and given me such joy and peace and eternal life. I am happy to share my faith. It is a positive motivator. Yeah, me too. I mean, I share my beliefs too because, it changed my life too. I mean, becoming an atheist, like, if I was still a Christian, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be doing YouTube videos about atheism. I'd probably be still doing gaming stuff. Or maybe I'd talk about God and Jesus, I don't know. But yeah, it completely changed my life for sure. And a lot of songs and jokes I didn't get that were anti-religious, I probably wouldn't like those songs or jokes if I was religious. But when it comes to things I don't believe in, I feel no desire to spend time talking about it. I think football is stupid, but I don't spend my free time trying to convince others that I think football is stupid. That's true. If I were truly an atheist, I would not care at all about people who believe in Jesus or Christianity. It would not be worth my time or effort to disprove something which I already don't believe in. To be fair, a bunch of people who like football aren't going around saying people who don't like football are bad people, There isn't a misconception about people who don't like football. There isn't this whole conspiracy that people who don't like football actually worship a different sport, or worship football, but deep down, they can't tell anybody about it. It is such a proof that... What? It is such a proof that 99% of the so-called non-believers... It is such a proof. It is such a proof that 99% of the so-called non-believers have serious doubts about their atheism, and they need to reinforce their non-belief because deep down, they are worried about eternity. They are worried about their soul, and they have every reason to be concerned. So now he's saying I'm gonna go to hell. Well, great job, dude. You totally won me over. Atheists always seem so angry and in some kind of emotional distress. They are ruled by their emotions. As a result, their minds remain in lockdown, impenetrable by any reasonable argument that challenges their thinking. In addition, they never provide any evidence to support their non-belief. I don't need to support my non-belief. My non-belief is a non-belief. You have to support your belief. It's how it works. All I'm saying is, I don't think God exists. You're saying God exists. I want you to prove it. Really, I'm not going to prove the fact that God doesn't exist because, first of all, that's not what I believe. God may or may not exist. You have to provide evidence for your belief because it's you who believes in the claim. All they do is keep dredging up to same old garbage that has been refuted for many years by people who actually spent the time and effort looking deeply into the issues of faith, God, creation, and most importantly, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Oh my God, That's how we feel about the Christians. Oh my goodness. The idea of infinity or infinite being had to be explained in two different contexts. You have this universe, which is not infinite, has to obey the laws of physics. Sure, I can use infinity between the numbers 1 and 2, but at some point it's going to reach its limit. Which then begs the question, is infinity even plausible? To argue infinite possibilities or universes is ridiculous, because at some point the cause has to be infinite or finite, or the cause is never reached. Oh my god, this is some deep shit. It's an endless argument that requires knowledge outside the known universe at that point. So if that knowledge is beyond any human's ability to understand, how can you disprove or prove anything? That is what sets the Hebrew God from all others. He not only claims to be the I am cause, but has given a written account to follow and test. No other claims meets that standard of scrutiny either. Okay, you lost me. So, a book says that a being says that he caused the universe to happen. And nothing else in the entire history of the world has met that standard of scrutiny. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to believe. So if I write a book that says, I am God, I created the universe, here are my rules, and then I write down a list of rules, and I bury it somewhere, and hundreds of years later they pick it up and read it, people pick it up and read it, that reaches the same standard of scrutiny as the Hebrew God. Oh, I can make it more elaborate. I could not only write a book, but make all of my sons and my son and my other son generations. I'll just make generations write more and more books and to add to my book to create a bigger book, and then we'll bury it somewhere so hundreds of years later people will dig it up, and then it'll meet the same standard of scrutiny as yours did, as the Hebrew God did. You see why there's a problem there, right? Think about it. What does an atheist have to be happy about? Well, we can be happy about dying. I mean, that's one thing to be happy about. To them, life is an accident with no purpose or meaning, and when death comes, you have nothingness to look forward to. Well, I mean, I guess so, if you put it that way. Oh my goodness. Well, sure, life may be purely an accident with no purpose or meaning, and we may have nothingness to look forward to.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
But we could fall back on the euphoria of our emotions. We can fall back on the chemicals in our brain and what makes us happy there. And once you fall back a little bit into it, you'll think of things instead of just a purely non-emotional way, in a little bit of emotional way, to the point where you put emotional attachment to things, that you love those things and you love those people, and eventually you'll create meaning in just the people around you. That's how I did it anyways. I mean, sure, in the end, we're all just robots receiving inputs and outputs, but, you know, if you just succumb to the realization that nothing matters, so might as well give in to your emotions just a little bit, not to the point where it's completely overrun by your life, but just enough to where you can have emotional attachment and not feel meaningless about it. You get what I mean, right? Am I just talking nonsense? I hope I'm not talking nonsense. The more I learn and study, the more I feel that new atheists are angry little twits. I'm a twit? The hell is that? I've heard twat before, but I don't even know what that means. Twit, urban dictionary. The kind of person that makes a retarded chimp look smart. Oh damn, that is a good word. I'm gonna use that word now. I think this girl actually has a really good point. This is actually how I felt about it when I read the verses in the Bible and it made me start questioning. I don't know about the guy asking the question, but I'm mad about it. I'm mad that a proclaimed holy book of moral guidance advocates slavery. Can't even say words right. I'm so mad I can't say words right. I'm mad that it advocates rape. I'm mad that it advocates genital mutilation. I can't say it. The subservience of women, child abuse, taking prisoners of war and marrying them, but only if they're virgin women, genocide of people who don't share the same belief, and a slew of other distasteful, immoral acts. Sure, I'm mad about it. Just who the hell wouldn't be? Everyone is so afraid of Islam because it advocates the same things. Open your eyes. Even if the Judeo-Christian God does exist, there's no way I'd ever get on my knees and worship such a disposable being. Don't forget, this is the guy who killed innocent children just to punish their parents. That story of Exodus that we all know? Yeah, go reread that. And don't forget to ask yourself about all the times that God hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he wouldn't let the Hebrews go. And ask yourself if the Egyptians really deserved all the horrors which befell them just from worshipping the wrong God. Go ahead. 3 likes and 28 replies. I guess I have time to read the replies. YOLO. So you believe in God then? Did you even read her comment? Dude. That's so funny. Yes. Then how could you possibly conclude she believes in God? Because. Oh, that's good. That's some good hard thinking. Good job, a disciple. Good freaking job, dude. That's what I'm gonna use. You know what? From now on, if anybody ever questions me, I'm just to say, because. Why are you an atheist? Because. Why is my argument invalid? Because. Ultimate slap in the face to any argument ever. Oh, Jesus Christ. What you are saying is typical of someone who has no idea of literature context. What the hell are you talking about? She literally mentioned the fact that God hardened the Pharaoh's heart so he wouldn't let the Hebrews go. That's what he did. He hardened the Pharaoh's heart so he wouldn't let the Hebrews go. And even if God didn't harden Pharaoh's heart, God still killed all the firstborn of Egypt. All his children. Dead because one dude decided not to let the Hebrews go. I mean, holy crap, dude. I mean, what context validates that? That God was being mind controlled? Where the hell, what verse is that in? So he mentions all these things about, there's no context to it all and you're deluded and that, you're ignorant, blatantly ignorant, dumbfounded. The Bible does not advocate any of those things you mentioned, which is interesting to say the least, because he doesn't mention any of the context. I mean, at the very least, at least mention the one thing, like maybe, just maybe, the Egypt story, the one in Egypt where God hardened the Pharaoh's heart. Maybe it was taken out of context. Maybe. So provide that example of why it was taken out of context. Nope. No example. And to be fair, the original comment didn't put the context in. I mean, she did add a little bit to the story, but she didn't provide the verse. There's rules of slavery in Exodus 21:1 through 21:11. If you rape an unbetrothed virgin, you only have to pay 50 silver and marry her. It doesn't advocate it. It certainly isn't a deed to her. Circumcision was the proof of people's covenant with God. Interesting. Women can have no authority over men and should be quiet. Context, rules of worship. Read the chapter. Child abuse. Context, what to do to a disobedient child. So he's provided all these. Deuteronomy, Timothy, Genesis. Again, another Deuteronomy. Another Deuteronomy, and another Exodus. And there's a little bit more, but I'm just going to end this video here because these are a lot of comments. I mean, holy hell, 2,849 comments. That is a lot of comments. It does have 111,000 views though. So it makes sense. But if anybody who, can listen to like the speaker better than I can, which apparently every single one of these people down in the comments below understood it. But I guess, I don't know, I guess my speakers must be like, they don't like the echo or whatever. But if you can understand what this person is saying, please respond to the video. I'd like to know what he's saying. Maybe add subtitles too, in case you can. But yeah, I decided to read the comments. There's some interesting things down there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye. Oh, did I say it fast enough? I don't know. Did I?